7 secrets for a thriving balcony garden and apartment garden. Coming up next. Hey friends, it's Elizabeth with Amaze Apartment Homes in the NoDa District in Charlotte, North Carolina in the house. I'm so excited to talk to you today about seven secrets. That was my friend's reference for you. 7 secrets for a thriving balcony garden and apartment garden. If you want to know all my tips and secrets to having beautiful herbs, beautiful fresh vegetables in your apartment, I'm going to show you today. But first, make sure you smash that like button, click subscribe down below, and check out Amaze Apartment Homes in NoDa District in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's dive in. So my beautiful plants that I have on my balcony at Amaze Apartment, my Amaze apartment, I have a studio apartment. So I don't know if you have a 1-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment, whatever floats your boat, we're gonna dive into all of it. Our first secret, number 1, that we're gonna talk about is discerning if you have a green thumb or not so much a green thumb. And so to be honest, I'm still learning how to have a better green thumb. I had succulents last year and I actually ended up killing them. I did not mean to, I just didn't know. And so now the past year, I've really been educating myself on container gardening, on apartment gardens. So these bad boys are rocking out. So discern first, do you want to have a really, really easy apartment garden, a balcony garden, or do you want to go a little bit more difficult? We're going to talk about all of them today. So my secret for you, number 1, is I would encourage and recommend, if you don't have a green thumb, to get succulents. These bad boys are super simple. They don't need a lot of sun, and you don't have to water them. If you forget, and we're gonna talk in a little bit about the watering system here, but if you forget to water plants, or you're a super busy executive, or you're running around Charlotte, North Carolina, I get it. These are the first secret. Get something simple. This does not have to be complicated. Literally, these are very minimal effort. So secret number 1, get succulents. These were delivered, and I will link down in the description link below all of the live plants I got, the sources where I got them. Of course, in Charlotte, North Carolina, use one of the local growers there for gardening, but these you can also get shipped to you if you just don't have time to go out and about in town. So secret number 1 for your container gardening, apartment gardening, get succulents. You can easily put these in your kitchen windowsill, or maybe in your living room window, wherever would make the most sense. And again, you really don't have to water these bad boys very much. And I promise you, you won't kill them like I did. These literally have been thriving now for the past several months and are doing great with very minimal effort. So secret number 2 for a thriving balcony garden and apartment garden is going to be, do you have sun or do you have shade? What type of lighting does your balcony on your apartment get? If it gets full sun, partial sun, meaning a little bit of sun and then not so much sun and it's completely shaded, or is it totally shaded? That's going to discern your next step for a thriving garden. And you want to figure that out, the shade or the sun, before you make any purchases for your balcony garden. Super, super important to know that before going in. Check out your balcony on your apartment. And if you're in an Amaze apartment home, which way the sun is facing. Excuse me, if you're getting full sun, if you're getting partial sun, that's going to be important for our third thriving secret. Tip number 3. I would highly encourage, for my container gardening and on my apartment balcony, I love growing vegetables and herbs. For me, like I said, I'm not a professional gardener, and getting there to having a green thumb. I have like a light green thumb. Soon it will be a full green thumb. But herbs and vegetables I have found are very hardy, fairly simple, and if you have a very busy schedule, or you're an executive, you work long shifts, maybe you work night work or swing work, things like that, whatever your lifestyle is, I have found that herbs are awesome and that vegetable plants are awesome. So the ones that I love first are mint. Mint, I absolutely am loving mint. This one is sun to part shade. This is my lime mint. It smells divine. Literally, I put it in my North Carolina sweet tea. You can put it in there, or you can put it in your water if you have sparkling water. I usually love a beautiful wine goblet filled with sparkling water, and then with my mint in there, my water for glasses. These just look beautiful in there to have for like an evening water. It just makes it look elegant, and it smells elegant. And these grow, more importantly, these grow like wildfire. If you want to have something very simple, put these in a big pot, and in fact, This pot is even probably too small. You could get a bigger pot or container for your container gardening. But I love this one on my balcony garden, because it's simple, right? And it's sun to part shade. And so it fits in very well, excuse me, depending on if you have part shade or sun. So that would be my first recommendation for picking out plants. The next one is going to be thyme. I love thyme because I can put it in a lot of different recipes, a lot of different crock pots. When I'm cooking in my beautiful Amaze apartment, I just absolutely love having fresh thyme, fresh basil. Basil, oh my gosh, you have to get basil if you like to making tomato sauce, or if you like doing Italian cooking. I have even put basil, I love cooking the gamut of Indian food and lots of different things in the crock pot. Basil is it just makes your home smell so inviting and your apartment smells so welcoming. Your neighbors can come over, try some of your tomato sauce, that's great. The other one that I do love, and that also is very easy to grow, and again, if you're just starting your apartment garden or balcony garden, is rosemary. Rosemary is so simple, so easy. I would start it in one of these bigger pots, and again, I will link all of my pots and things like that if you want them to get delivered. I do normally have a no schlepping clause. So I love having the delivery with it. You can get them locally delivered too in Charlotte, North Carolina, like I said, but the rosemary is simple. Put it in a bigger pot and it will grow. You can put it in your meals that you cook. You can impress your family and friends and neighbors. You can be a good neighbor and give them, make your own homemade tomato sauce. I don't know, who knows? I also have cabbage that has been very, very easy for me to grow. I have Chinese cabbage, regular cabbage. I have some eggplant that's been fairly simple. Tomatoes are going to grow big. So say you have a 3-bedroom apartment. You're gonna need more space on your balcony for tomatoes and a cage to help them grow up. They're gonna need full sun. They need to be in a pretty well sunlit area, but those are awesome to grow too and fairly simple. So that's number 3, figuring out what plants you wanna get. My recommendation and secret for you for a thriving apartment garden, balcony and apartment garden is getting either herbs or getting vegetables. My favorite, again, eggplant. Cucumber have been fun, but have not been as easy for me as the cabbage. The cabbage, for me, has actually been very simple. Your question of the day is, what is your favorite container gardening item to have? I just shared with mine. I would love to see in the comments down below, what's your favorite container gardening item? So secret number 4 for having a thriving apartment garden or balcony garden is going to be picking the proper containers. So I had talked about rosemary, for example. This pot that it comes in, if you're just starting gardening, is not going to be the pot that you want to grow it in. That's just a starter pot. What I would encourage instead, and what I did, is I started my rosemary. This is going to get transplanted into a bigger pot. I have different sizes that I've been putting different things. Again, I will put those in the description link below, but it's important that you pick the right pot and with the different containers so you don't have to continually transplant. My philosophy is I want to put it in the container it's probably going to stay with all season. You do you if you want to start them off this and then later you can transplant the roots. For me, it's been nice having them in the pots. In fact, I found my cabbage-sized pots actually need to be a little bit bigger. And so that's part of the learning process too, is like rotating these. I really don't want to rotate them after I plant them once. The good news, going back to secret number 1, is with succulents, you don't have to transplant them, which is nice. So making sure you have the proper pot size and, like I said, rosemary, mint, things like that grow like wildfire, you want a bigger pot to begin with. Obviously, if you're growing eggplant, like this beautiful eggplants that I have, those need to be in a big pot, right? Like they need to have, and like if you're doing tomatoes, you need to have a cage that they grow up. And you can check those out. I have loved making sure that I have beautiful pots and you can decorate them and things like that to make them fun and cute. Tip number 5 for a thriving apartment garden or balcony garden is going to be your watering system. What are you going to use to water these daggone plants? I happen to have a leftover crate and barrel pitcher that I use for dinner parties, and it was just sitting in one of my Amaze Apartment Homes cabinets, and literally that's what I use for watering. So number 1, figure out what kind of container you're going to be watering your plants with. But 2, and more importantly, what time of day are you going to be watering your plants? Ideally, morning is best to water them so your plants don't burn. Did you know your plants can burn? Yes, if you water them and it becomes a really, really hot sun, particularly that Charlotte, North Carolina sun, it can get too hot and the little plants, they're gonna wilt. They don't wanna get that because it's gonna burn them. So ideally doing it in the morning. I love that morning time. It's now part of my routine of making sure I clear my mind, I get super relaxed. It's very methodical, just kind of going through and watering. It's very refreshing and relaxing, to be honest. And if you have a high stressful job, or if you're super busy on the go, or even if you do shift work, figure out what time makes the best sense for you to water your plants. Ideally morning, but you could even do earlier afternoon, or maybe you want to do it at night. Whatever makes the most sense for your lifestyle and one that you're going to be able to do pretty much every day. I water my plants every day, making sure that they're hydrated and that they're able to grow so they can produce beautiful vegetables or beautiful herbs. Secret number 6 for a thriving balcony garden or apartment garden is going to be drainage. Let's talk about good neighbor systems. At Amaze Apartment Homes, I love being a good neighbor. I love my community, and I love spreading positivity with my neighbors, and they do back for me too. It's a loving environment, a loving community. And so I have found with drainage, I use the double system. With my drainage, because twofold. One, I don't want to mess up my apartment balcony. I love it, it's beautiful. I respect Amaze Apartment Homes. I want to keep that beautiful. But 2, and more importantly, is I love taking care of my neighbors. I think it would be really rude if my water dropped down onto their balcony. That wouldn't be very nice. So what I do is the double drainage to help prevent that, and again, for my good neighbor system, is I do a twofold. Is one, I have underneath a container that catches the water underneath. Make sure when you're ordering your pots that you do get the container underneath for those to catch it. But then the double drainage system that I have, and this is a big secret, so lean in, is I use with the double, I had an extra cooking sheet. I used my extra cooking sheet. It goes under here. My pot literally goes on top of here. So it's catching here in the plate, and then it's catching on the drainage. Like I said, being a good neighbor is really important to me. I love my Amaze apartment home community, and I want to keep it that way. I want to keep my neighbors happy, and I want to be happy. And so making sure I use double drainage prevents any sort of drainage leaking below on the balcony below mine or the apartment below mine. Secret number 7, let's go talk fertilizer. Because I love using herbs and vegetables, I want to make sure I'm using the best gardening tools possible, and that's using organic soil and organic fertilizer, right? Because I'm going to be ingesting these things. I'm going to be making beautiful tomato sauces and having my herbs in the food I'm consuming. I personally like having very organic soil, great organic soil, and then great fertilizer that is organic, that it doesn't make me scared to ingest it, right? So I will link the brands that I use down below. They get delivered to your apartment, so you don't have to schlep it around. And it's very simple to use and very easy and convenient. I do recommend when you're having those products to come, again, pulling out an extra cooking sheet or some sort of big pan, or if you have a leftover, like for moving, if you have a leftover moving box, things like that, a cardboard box, if you got an Amazon delivery or something like that, put the pots in when you're doing the soil, again, to prevent any sort of dirt coming out. We want to be very good neighbors and keeping our apartment spaces beautiful and clean because we're good neighbors. So making sure you have organic fertilizer, organic soil. The fertilizer helps the plant to grow. So when you're literally taking it out of the small pot and putting it into the big pot, you're gonna wanna make sure that you put your plant in, put some dirt in, put a little fertilizer, and then just a little bit of dirt over that to ensure that the roots are really gonna start to grow and flourish and thrive. So, question of the day is, what is your favorite plant that you're gonna put in your apartment garden or in your balcony garden? What are you gonna do? I love container gardening because it's so easy and so simple. That's your question of the day. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button. Make sure you click subscribe. And if you would like a part 2 in this series, if you want to see my tomatoes, if you want to see further more information about apartment gardens, we can put that in the comments below. I would love to make a part 2 if you have interest. And don't forget to visit Amaze Apartment Homes in NoDa District in Charlotte, North Carolina for the best apartments. You can get balcony apartments, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartments as well, and it's in the NoDa District. Friends, make it a powerful day. I'll see you again next time. Bye guys.